Hi, students. So today's lesson is when do you study? That's the question we're asking. And the goal for today is for us to plan a schedule. So by the end of the day, we got to figure out how to plan a schedule. You may already know how to do this. But it says complete the information about what Roberto does. So we have a bunch of times here. And then we also have sentences. Roberto listens to the, Roberto reads the, Roberto practices in, Roberto watches, Roberto writes in a. So we have all of these words, right? Radio, newspaper, class, TV, journal. So obviously, if it says Roberto listens to, you listen to the radio. Roberto reads the newspaper. Roberto practices in class. Roberto watches TV. Roberto writes in a journal, right? So let's go ahead and fill those in. And then we'll go ahead and look at the times. Okay, so Roberto listens to the radio. Roberto reads the newspaper. Roberto practices in class. Roberto watches TV. Roberto writes in a journal. Okay, sorry that the color is blue. Maybe we should do, let's do like a burgundy. Okay, so some of the other ones are harder to read. So we have Roberto listens to the radio. So he listens to the radio. So this time right here is 6:30 to 7. So that's 30 minutes, right? So we would say in English, we would say Roberto listens to the radio from 6:30 to 7. Roberto reads the newspaper from 7:15 to 8 o'clock, 7:15 to 8 o'clock. Roberto practices in class from 5 o'clock to 6:30. Roberto watches TV from 10 o'clock to 10:30. Roberto writes in a journal from 11 o'clock to 11:30. So you'll notice that I say from to, right? From 11 o'clock to 11:30, right? So if we look at this, when we're talking about time, when we say the sentence, we talk about the activity. He does this, right? What do you do? What do they do? Let's see. Allison watches TV, right? So that's a full sentence. Allison watches TV. If we want to talk about time, we'll add to the end by saying Allison watches TV, and instead of saying just the time, instead of saying Allison watches TV 5-6, we say Allison watches TV from, which is the start. What time do they start? We say from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So we can write it in sentences, right? He reads the newspaper from 7:15 to 8 o'clock. He practices English class from, from 5 o'clock to 6:30. He watches TV from 10 o'clock to 10:30. He writes in a journal from 11 o'clock to 11:30, right? And then the next that we have, okay, and it says, look at the clocks, write the times. Okay, so you'll see, it says this first one, Lydia reads the newspaper at 6:45. So it wants you to look at the clock and then put the time. So Lydia listens to the radio at, so this time is 1:15. So we would say 1:15. Lydia practices English in class at and this is 2:25, right? So 2 right here, 25. 2:25. Lydia writes in a journal at, right? So it's 7:50 is what the time is. It kind of looks like it's an 8 time, but it's 7:50. So we have at 7:50. So you'll see when we are talking about the time and we're only getting one time, like pick me up, we use the word at. Pick me up at 4 o'clock. Pick me up at 3:30. I have a meeting at 10:30, right? So we can use at to also talk about time, not just, when we say, I work from 9 to 5, I work from 6:30 to 8, right? So that would be how to talk about two times, right? A beginning time and an end time. But if we're just talking about when something starts, when you need something, you just say at. You say the action, Lydia reads the newspaper. That could be a sentence by itself, but we want more information. Lydia reads the newspaper at 6:45, right? So now we want to write Lydia's schedule. So at 1:15, right? At 1:15, Lydia listens to the radio. So let's use the pronoun, right? Let's use she. She listens to the radio, right? Next one, Lydia practices English in class at 2:25. So what we'll write is 2:25. And what we'll say is Lydia, or let's use she practices English in class, right? So we don't need to say she practices English in class at, unless we're saying the time, right? Together. Now let's do 7:50. 7:50. Lydia writes in a journal. So we're going to write that. Lydia writes in a journal. Okay, so there's the schedule. Okay, so that's our schedule. And this one's a listening activity. So it says listen and write one schedule. We don't have the listening part because it's online. I can't really do it. So we'll just skip this part. But basically, try, practice listening to when people say times. It can be confusing. Sometimes the words, the teen words, 12 through 20, 12 through 19, those words are hard to understand and you can get confused with, for example, is somebody saying 17 or 70? 17 or 70? So sometimes you have to clarify with people, did you say 10, 15 or 10:50? Yeah, what time did they say? So that's always something good to practice. The next thing is it says, write your schedule in the chart. So I want you to do this writing. And it says, talk to a partner. When do you practice English? Write a schedule in the chart. So I'll write my information down here. And up here, I want you, or since you can't really write on a piece of paper and make this graph, right? Write your schedule in the chart. So it says in the morning, what's the start time for your activity and the end time. So first let's pick it, pick an activity that you do in the morning. Eat breakfast, drive to school, take the bus to school, take tracks to school, right? In the afternoon, pick an activity, right? I am at work. I take my dog for a walk and then have a start time and an end time, and then have at night, I watch TV. That's your activity. So you have a start time and an end time. So for me, we'll pick an activity that I do. So in the mornings, what's something that I do? In the morning, I listen to a podcast, right? A podcast is it's like a little It's basically like a radio show that you can play and pause when you want to. So in the morning, I listen to a podcast. Right. So that's my morning. I listen to a podcast. My start time is I listen to it while I get ready for work. So I listen to my podcast from about 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Right. So I could say I listen to a podcast from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Okay, next one. So in the afternoon, an activity that I do is I make lessons, right? After I go and teach in-person classes, I come and make online classes and prepare classes for my students tomorrow in my in-person class. So in the afternoon, I make lessons. So I make lessons usually from 2 to 4. So from 2 to 4. So 2 to 4. So let's put 4:30 because that's usually what ends up happening. So from 2 to 4:30, I make lessons. And at night, I cook dinner. I cook dinner pretty late. I cook dinner. So I would say I cook dinner. I cook dinner at about 7:30. And it takes me usually half an hour to an hour. So we'll just say 8 o'clock. So in the morning, I listen to a podcast from 7 to 8. In the afternoon, I make lessons from 2 to 4:30. At night, I cook dinner from 7:30 to 8. Okay, so I'll get rid of that. And it says report the information about your partner to a group. So you don't really have to do this, obviously, because we're not in person. But anyways, let's keep going. Okay, so this says read the planner, then match the clocks to the activities in Jim's schedule. Okay, so we see, let me do this. Okay, so we have 5 a.m., 5:30, 6, 6:30. I know it's kind of hard to see. 6:30, 7, 7:38. It goes by 30 minutes. And it says, it has all the times. Listen to the radio, read the newspaper, practice English in class, write in a journal, right? And all of this is up here in the schedule. So the first thing, let's look at the first thing. So at 6 a.m., eat breakfast. So what we want to do is we want to find the clock. What does it say? Then match the clocks to the activities. So it says 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I don't see it 6 a.m. Maybe it's just because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 activities and there's only 4. So let's just listen to the radio. So at 11 a.m., Jim listens to the radio. So we can write that down there. So we want to find 11 a.m. Right. So we have 11 a.m. right here. So we would write listen to the radio. Right. And then the next one, read the newspaper. Read the newspaper is at 7 a.m. So we want to find 7. Oh, there it is. So read the newspaper. Ooh, and it's you're kind of running into each other. And then the next one, practice English in class, is at 10:30. So we want 10. Wait, what does it say? Oh, it's just 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. So we can say practice English in class. And then the last one is write in a journal at 9:30. So we would write in a journal. So that's the schedule that we read. Okay. It says write sentences about the schedule in exercise A. And we can say Jim eats breakfast at 6 a.m. He reads the newspaper at 7 a.m. He writes in a journal at 9:30 a.m. And remember, because we're talking about one person, right, that is not me or you, it's not us. We say he, remember? And when we have he, she, it, we use an S at the end of the verb. So instead of I read, you read, we read, they read, we say he reads, she reads, right? He writes in a journal at 9:30 a.m. He practices English in class at 10 a.m. He listens to the radio at 11 a.m. He eats dinner at 12 p.m., right? So there are sentences that we can say, right? Now we're going to do one where we have to read. If you can't read on the screen, go ahead and just listen to what I'm saying, and this will be listening practice instead. Okay, so it says, read the paragraphs. When do people study? Mark on the calendar. So it says, my name is Mario. I want to learn English, so I need to study a lot. I will study a little bit on Mondays and a lot on Wednesdays. Wednesday is my day off from work, so I have more time. I hope to watch TV in English on Saturdays too. My name is Sebastian. I'm from Haiti. I need to learn English so I can get a better job. I need to study Monday to Saturday. I want to take a break on Saturday to meet my friends and relax. I'm Natalia. English is important. I need to study a lot. I think I will study every day for about 2 hours. I don't work, so I have the time to study. Okay, so let's start with Mario. So Mario, I want to learn English, so I need to study a lot. I will study a little bit on Mondays, right? And a lot on Wednesdays. Wednesday is my day off from work, so I have more time. I hope to watch TV in English on Saturdays too. So let's mark on the calendar. So that was Mario. So now let's look at Sebastian. My name is Sebastian. I'm from Haiti. I need to learn English to get a better job. I need to study Monday to Saturday. So that means he's studying Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So all of those days, Monday to Saturday. I want to take a break on Sunday to meet my friends and relax. So he does not study on Sunday. And then Natalia, English is important. I need to study a lot. I think I will study every day for about 2 hours. I don't work, so I have time to study. So that means Natalia is studying Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. So those are all the hours from the reading. Okay. Next part says, read the chart, right? So we have the chart. It says the start time from, start time to, end time, and then we have example sentences. So from 7 to 8, from 10:30 to 11, from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, right? So we can say an activity. He attends school, he goes to school from 7 to 8. He reads from 10:30 to 11. He practices English from 5 to 7. He watches TV from 8 to 10. So remember, we're not saying the number 2, we're saying to, like between, from to, right? Okay, so we can say a normal sentence, right? Like, I use the bathroom. That's a basic sentence, but I can also say a time. I use the bathroom from 7 o'clock to 7:08, or you could say from 7 o'clock to 7:10, right? I go running from 5 o'clock to 5:30, right? So these are all things we can say when practicing to speak with time, right? From the time to the time, right? So you can have a regular sentence that we've learned how to make. And then you just add from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock just at the end. And it's right. And then if you wanted to say only one time, not two times, you say he attends school at 7, or he reads or he reads at 10:30. He practices English at 5, right? So that's it for the lesson today, and I will see you next time. Bye.